Hey there, so you're gearing up for an AWS exam, and you know it's all about having the right tools in your toolkit. Well, in this explainer, we're going to build out that exact toolkit, focusing on the core messaging and deployment services that you absolutely positively have to know to pass. Let's get right into it.
You know, the real trick on the exam isn't just memorizing what a service does. It's about being able to pick the best one from a list of options that look super similar. It's that classic question. Should I use SQS or NNS? CloudFormation or Elastic Beanstalk? Nailing those questions is exactly what we're here to master today.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with decoupling, then jump over to sending messages and notifications. After that, we'll tackle orchestrating workflows, automating deployments, and then tracing and troubleshooting. And don't worry, we'll wrap it all up with a super quick final review to make sure it all sticks.
All right, first up, decoupling. You know, when you want to build really resilient, robust applications where all the different pieces can work independently, well, your go-to tool for that job is going to be SQS.
SQS, or Simple Queue Service, is basically a message queue. Its whole reason for being is to let different parts of your application communicate without being directly tied together. Now, here's a key thing to remember. SQS is pull-based. That means your worker applications, the consumers, have to actively ask the queue, hey, got any messages for me? The queue isn't just pushing messages out into the void. So once you decide on SQS, you've got your first big choice to make, standard or FIFO. Standard is the default. You get insane throughput, but it only gives a best effort at keeping messages in order. And yeah, you might see a duplicate message here and there. But if you need absolute guaranteed ordering and zero duplicates, think about something like a banking transaction where the order of events is everything, then you have to go with the FIFO, or first in, first out queue.
Your next big decision is how you ask for those messages. With short polling, you ask the queue for a message and you get an answer right away, even if that answer is, nope, nothing here. As you can imagine, that could get pretty expensive fast. Long polling is way smarter. Your consumer asks the queue and then it just waits. It only gets a response when a message actually shows up. So here's the exam tip. Long polling is almost always the right answer. It's way more cost-effective.
Okay, next up in our toolkit is communication. And here, we're going to tackle one of the most common tripwires on the exam, knowing when to use SES versus when to use SNS.
This one is huge, so listen up. If an exam question mentions sending beautifully formatted HTML emails, with fancy fonts, colors, images, the whole shebang, like for a marketing campaign or a detailed order confirmation, the answer is always SES, the simple email service. On the other hand, if the scenario is just about sending simple notifications, SMS text messages, or plain text emails, it's SNS, the simple notification service. Just burn this into your brain. Rich HTML equals SES. Plain text and SMS equals SNS.
All right, what happens when you have a process that involves multiple steps, one after the other? That's where our workflow toolkit comes into play. And we're talking about EventBridge and Step Functions.
Think of EventBridge as the central nervous system for your entire application. An event is really just a signal that something happened, a state change, like a file being uploaded or a server shutting down. EventBridge is constantly listening for these events and then routes them to the right place to kick off some kind of action.
And the whole process is super simple, really. First, an event happens. Let's say an EC2 instance gets shut down. Second, a rule that you've already set up matches that specific event. And third, that event gets sent to a target, maybe an SNS topic or a Lambda function, to do something about it, like sending a text alert to an admin.
Now, for workflows that are a bit more complex, where you need to keep track of the state, you've got Step Functions. The absolute magic of Step Functions is that it gives you a visual diagram of your whole multi-step process. It triggers each step for you, and this is the best part, it logs the state of every single one. So if something breaks, you can just look at the visual workflow and see exactly which step failed. It makes debugging so much easier.
Let's switch gears a bit. Now we're going to talk about actually getting your applications and your infrastructure up and running with our deployment toolkit.
Another classic choose one exam scenario. You've got CloudFormation, which is infrastructure as code. You write up a template, basically a blueprint in YAML or JSON, that describes all the AWS resources you need, and CloudFormation builds it perfectly, every single time. Then you have Elastic Beanstalk, which is a platform as a service. With this one, you just upload your code, and it handles literally everything else for you.
And when I say everything else, I mean everything. Elastic Beanstalk will provision your EC2 instances, your databases, your load balancers, the whole platform. It supports a ton of languages, it handles patching the operating system for you, and it even gives you monitoring right out of the box. It's the ultimate hands-off approach to deployment.
So, your application is up and running. It's decoupled, it's communicating, it's deployed. But what happens when it's running slow? That's where our final tool comes in, the monitoring toolkit.
AWS X-Ray is your secret weapon for digging into performance problems. It gives you this amazing visual service map that lets you trace a single request from the moment it hits your application all the way through every single downstream service it talks to. It lets you immediately see where the bottlenecks are and what's causing errors. It's like having X-ray vision for your code.
We have covered a lot of ground. So now, let's put it all together in one final lightning-fast review. Think of this as your ultimate cheat sheet for the exam.
Okay, you ready? Let's lock this in. SQS is for decoupling. FIFO queues mean you care about order and no duplicates. Long polling saves you money. SES is for your fancy HTML marketing emails. SNS is for plain text notifications and SMS. EventBridge is the backbone of event-driven architectures. CloudFormation is infrastructure as code. Elastic Beanstalk is platform as a service. And X-Ray is for tracing and hunting down performance bottlenecks. You got this.
And there you have it. Your toolkit is now fully stocked for some of the trickiest service selection questions on your AWS exam. By really understanding these core ideas, and more importantly, the key differences between them, you are in such a better position to succeed. Now, you're ready to choose the right tool for the job.